I'm Antoni Porowski,
Dzień dobry.
and as a son of immigrants, I know that food can tell you more about who you are
Nothing makes me feel more Polish than this.
and where you've come from
This is it.
than you ever imagined. So now, I'm leading 6 curious Hollywood stars
Are you excited for this?
Yeah.
on their very own journeys of a lifetime.
I've been waiting for this moment my entire life.
I'll be delving into their family histories
Florence.
Yeah.
and tracking down culinary clues
Oh my gosh. It's so good.
to unlock the past.
It almost feels unreal to think that I descend from a king.
And it all begins
For you, Nana.
with just one family recipe.
It's crispy.
This time, James Marsden, star of Enchanted, Jury Duty, and Westworld, heads to Texas
Your family is part of a very dramatic story.
and Germany
You'd have told me we were coming to have dinner with a royal German family. I would not have expected that.
to get the full flavor
I would never have tied German immigrants to barbecue.
of his family's history.
I actually only stand on the red. Well, this is getting interesting and maybe dark. That was a solid door knock. How are you?
I tried. Good to see you.
James.
Thanks for coming. Come on in. Welcome to Mom's house.
Hi, Miss Marsden.
Hi.
This is so nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Thank you so much for having me.
Aunt Kathleen, Aunt.
James and his mother Kathleen have invited me over for a home-cooked meal.
I'm already distracted. There's so much going on here.
Welcome to Meatville.
You can turn that on for
Yeah,
me.
let's see here. Oh, that's the back burner. Chaos and madness. Come on, cook already.
Okay, so what is it that we're making today?
We are making, well, my mom is making chicken fried steak.
It's a Texan classic, which is made with tenderized beef that's fried like chicken in a thick coat of buttermilk and flour.
I was gonna ask you, like, why this dish?
This is one of those dishes that once she started cooking it, we had a 2-story house, and the smell from the kitchen would start to waft up the stairs. We were upstairs playing Nintendo or whatever, and we'd smell it like, oh, Mom's cooking chicken fried steaks. It's taking me back. I'm 12 years old again. The thing we always wanted, and we always wanted it overdone a little bit.
Yeah.
So there's a little extra crunch.
Yeah.
A single mom with 4 kids, getting homemade food on the table wasn't always easy in the Marsden household.
I worked a lot. I had 2 jobs at once. I was busy, busy, busy.
You know, we had pretty humble upbringing. But when she would cook, it would be a rabid dash to the kitchen table to,
Yeah.
like, claim your bits of steak.
Who gets the
gravy.
crustiest one? Who gets
Yes.
the biggest piece?
But when your mom made that meal, like, that's something that stays with you.
Yeah, because there's extra love that goes into that when it's homemade like that.
Wow.
Beaut.
Help yourself.
This one's for you.
Oh, okay.
Look at that perfect golden brown. That's it right there.
Dig in.
Yes.
Oh, I get it. I get it.
There's something about the shell of fried flour.
You get to have more gravy because it just goes in between all the little crevices.
Like the gravy, I want to get to the nitty-gritty of how chicken fried steak made its way into the Marsden family repertoire.
Kathleen, who taught you how to make this?
I had some guidance from my mother, and she used a different kind of meat. It was not tenderized, so it was a thicker steak,
Yeah.
and it was a little
Tough.
chewy.
Kathleen learned the recipe from her mother, James's grandma Scholes.
This is my mother and my father on their wedding day, 1944.
Wow.
Grandfather Scholes, your father, was
Yeah.
half German?
Half German.
Half German.
Mom Kathleen even knows the name of one of her father's German ancestors, Adolf Scholes, James's great-great-great-grandfather, who was well known in these parts in the mid-1800s.
Adolf Scholes had a beer garden in San Antonio.
That's a beer garden. Are those palms?
That's why it was called the Palm Garden.
That looks like a Gatsby party or something.
What events would happen at like the Palm Garden?
Beer fests, I guess, Oktoberfests. You know, there's a lot of Germans in Texas.
There were. And it does make me wonder whether chicken fried steak would have been on the menu all those years ago. I'm convinced this dish holds the key to something much bigger.
What's the pull for you to do this right now? What excites you about this?
As you get older, you just get so curious about like, where did I come from? Where did you come? Where did we all come from? How far back do you go? And how did your ancestors live? And what were they eating? Do you have anything that's been sort of passed down?
It's sort of like we do these things, we have these rituals when we're growing up and all of these family traditions. You know, your face really did light up when you were talking about like you and your siblings running in when she was making this meal.
This is what we grew up eating, but is there any connection between this dish and our great, whatever? It's
Just finding what it is, right?
So James has some big questions about what he's inherited from his German ancestors. With that in mind, I've done some digging through the archives to find out more. And what I've discovered brings us here, to the vast open country of Central Texas.
So you're probably wondering what the hell we're doing out in a field on horseback.
You could say that.
So your 4 times maternal great-great-great-great-grandfather,
Right.
Herman Conring, and his wife Georgina, they immigrated here from Germany in 1854 with 5 kids.
That's back to 1854.
1854.
So James is more German than he ever realized, because it wasn't just Kathleen's father who had German ancestors. Her mother Mary did too. And they made their home out here.
They came here with their clothing, their language, their customs, some recipes, and like that was it. And they actually took over 640 acres of land and basically started populating it with horse and cattle.
Did they know what it was going to be like? Why Texas?
All I can say is more will be revealed.
Okay. All right, way to stay cryptic.
Just as I thought, James is champing at the bit to learn more, and luckily, I've arranged to meet someone to fill in the gaps.
Just the man we were looking for. Hi, Jim.
Welcome, fellas. Glad to see you. Welcome to my ranch.
Jim Kearney's family have been ranchers for over 140 years. Like James, his ancestors are also German.
Your family is part of a very dramatic story.
Turns out 1/5 of all families in these parts have German roots, and how many of them ended up in this bit of Texas is a tale of colonial ambition. Back in the 1840s, a group of German noblemen led thousands of German immigrants to hill country in the hope of creating their own little principality. But it didn't work out as planned.
It was almost a complete, utter debacle because they ran out of money. They didn't know what they were doing. They had no business acumen.
But what was a disaster for the nobles turned into an opportunity for the German settlers.
Somehow, the immigrants themselves were able to turn things around and make the transition to new home and country in Texas.
The route to their salvation? Lots and lots of cows. Something Jim knows a thing or two about.
Well, fellas, we need to move these cattle out of here to another pasture. Maybe you can give me a hand on that.
Oh, you're serious?
Yeah, I think you can do it.
Do I know what that entails? No. But am I down? Absolutely.
Great. The best teacher is experience.
There you go. And you.
If you survive it.
Yeah.
Back then, cattle were used mainly for dairy and to plow fields.
Well, look, you can go this way, I'll go
There
this
you
way.
go.
How about that? Look at
Race,
that.
yeah.
But James's family arrived at a time when the population was growing, which led to an increased demand for beef.
Staying away from the mayor.
Yep. Don't have to tell me twice.
I don't feel like I'm the one in charge
No,
at all.
I know.
By the 1860s, there were 5 million cattle roaming the fertile Texas prairie.
So crazy.
It is wild.
51 of them on a 640-acre ranch owned by James's very own cowboy ancestor, Herman Conring.
I really feel like this is in your blood.
I think you're giving me a little too much credit, but
No.
I'll take it.
I mean, it's literally in your blood. It's in your genetics. But like...
It is, and I think that's the coolest thing is like realizing 150, 200 years ago that they were out here, like great-great-great-great-great-grandparents, doing essentially what we're doing now. Have you ever get that feeling like you've been somewhere before?
100%.
Yeah, there's something about this and everything we're doing here that does feel like, it's not, I don't feel out of sorts. I don't feel out of place. This feels natural.
It turns out James has more cowboy in him than he ever thought. Let's hope he's got an appetite to match, because we're heading into town in search of a world-famous cuisine that should get James to see his German immigrant ancestors in a whole new light.
Smells like something's cooking.
Looky here. Whoa. Real fire.
Jim is taking us to lunch at one of the many German meat markets here in Central Texas.
Smells really good. I'm salivating again already.
Originally set up in Conring's time to butcher and sell beef to a growing population, these places rapidly innovated.
Can we do a quarter pound of the brisket?
Recognizing people's enjoyment of grilled food at outdoor celebrations, German entrepreneurs turned barbecue into an everyday treat by moving the fire pits indoors and threw popular cuts onto the smoker, like brisket and Claude, seasoned to perfection with no more than a simple spice rub inspired by the old country.
And look at this sausage. That was another skill of the German immigrants. They really perfected and usually just very simple ingredients, salt and pepper, sometimes maybe a little garlic. That's all you need.
My mom knows those ingredients well.
Growing up in the South, James is no stranger to food like this. But what's amazing is that his 4 times great-grandfather would have known it from its very beginnings.
Texas barbecue.
All right.
Courtesy of Antoni and I.
Here we are.
That's what they call it.
You got something for everybody.
And the tale doesn't end there, so I've invited barbecue expert Hoover Alexander to join us for lunch.
You got that crunchy little pieces of fat on the outside. People call it the candy.
You want it to be moist, but you want it to be tender. It's not easy to do.
It really isn't, so the Germans teamed up with others.
In the meat market, we have 2 different cultures coming together. German as one thread in that, and so is the African American.
If it fits in a pit, we try to smoke it.
Enslaved African Americans were experts at cooking meat over an open flame and harnessing the flavor of local woods. After the Civil War, many went to work with the Germans.
What the slaves brought to the game was the actual skills of using live fire. So, you've got your pits, be it shallow, be it deep. You've got steaks that you smoke on. All of these things have played a role into what we know as Texas barbecue.
Yeah.
We got the meat. We know what to do with it. Let's join forces.
Learning about the Germans and the black culture coming together gives me goosebumps thinking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And part of it's the food.
Of course.
Like I would never have tied German immigrants to barbecue in any fashion.
Food is the last thing to go. That's what people hold on to as a symbol of their former life or wherever they came from.
That's my takeaway from this. It really is.
Yeah, I agree.
James has discovered a connection to Texas and its food through his ancestor that's stronger than he ever realized. But what's still a mystery is why James's 4 times great-grandfather, Herman Conring, came here in the first place. There's only one way to find out: to head to the old country. I've taken a look at the records and discovered that Conring was born here, in the northwest of Germany in what is now Lower Saxony. And our first stop is a palace.
It is beautiful. Stunning. Very different than riding a horse out in the field.
There's something about Herman Conring James needs to hear.
This is my family's castle.
This is your family's castle.
I'm assuming. I know nothing. I have no idea.
No, Conring didn't go from being a prince to a cowboy. But he was no farmhand either.
So Herman had nothing to do with agriculture or anything like that when he was in Germany. He was actually a notary, type of lawyer.
Really?
He was super educated, came from a really good family, and they were part of the bourgeoisie. So they weren't quite the aristocrats or the royals, but definitely on like the higher levels. His wife's family were really wealthy landowners with like a huge manor. Herman's older sister's godmother was actually a baroness.
Wow.
In
Sounds
terms of
very
like,
fancy.
Right?
Yeah.
So a world away from his life on a Texas ranch, Herman Conring was actually a successful lawyer with connections to nobility. And that means he'd be familiar with palaces like this.
So you want to go inside?
It just so happens we're in time for dinner. What better way to understand Conring's experience than by trying it firsthand?
If you'd have told me we were coming to Germany to have a dinner with a royal German family, I would not have expected that. I feel so underdressed. You were smart to bring a jacket.
Welcome.
Hello.
Antoni, nice to meet you.
Hi, James. How are you?
Hi, nice
Pleasure to meet you.
I'm Teddy. So, I hear you have German ancestry?
Yes, I do, and we're sort of exploring that at the moment. I'm just, every day is a kind of a bit of a puzzle that we're putting together. Your name again, forgive me.
My name's Donatus, but most people call me Teddy. There's this weird tradition amongst aristocratic circles that we have cute-sounding nicknames. Teddy, Xiaomi, Whoopie, Whoopie. You know,
Whatever you prefer.
Teddy, aka Prince Heinrich Donatus of Schaumburg-Lippe, is all smiles, but his family is no joke. With a dynasty stretching back 900 years, his ancestors weren't just upholders of tradition, they were holders of absolute power. And I suspect we'll find out what that means for James's ancestor over dinner.
Oh, my Lord. I was not anticipating this.
Welcome to the ballroom.
My eyes can't process this. This is incredible.
You played a prince in a movie at one point, didn't you?
I did.
Did you have to waltz as well in the movie?
I did. I did.
How's your waltzing?
Learned the whole waltz for the
Oh,
Enchanted.
good.
Wait, no, I just screwed that up.
You're already better than me.
Well, yeah. Herman Conring, I just learned, was a notary. Back in the day, there was a pecking order, whatever you want to call it, and I'm just thinking, would they have been invited to the party? I don't know.
Yeah, well, most of the people that came here were sort of what was considered the higher social classes, but it's not just aristocracy, right? There's also higher bourgeoisie, the academics, the highly educated members of politics, perhaps. Given that your ancestor was highly connected, there's a good chance that he might have been in this kind of environment.
Wow.
I mean, you've got a half red carpet.
Yes, yes. Oh, excuse me, I actually only stand on the red.
So, show you the kitchen.
Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm fine, thanks.
Carry on. Don't let me stop you there.
Oliver Garrosh, private chef to many aristocratic households, is preparing a meal fit for a king. Well, a prince.
Is that a hollandaise?
That will be in Hollandaise, yeah.
Tonight's 8-course menu is typical of what Conring would have been served at a banquet.
We do oysters, we do mock turtle soup, we do a lobster course, and we have sauce Cumberland for the venison dish in the main course. Don't say something wrong, please. I'm the man with a knife.
The sweetness, I already taste what it's going to be like with the venison. I love it. 10 out of 10.
That's exceptional.
Yeah.
So good.
It all looks delicious, but English Cumberland sauce? French lobster thermidor? I'm not seeing a lot of sausage or sauerkraut.
Is there a dish here that is specifically German?
Specifically German? No.
So they were plucking these cuisines from different cultures.
It seems that when it came to dining, German aristocracy thought their own country's food was beneath them.
Thank you, chef.
Oh, thank you. We can't wait. This looks delicious. Another beautifully ornate room. I don't think I've ever seen this many place settings.
Whoa, yeah, that is a lot.
I feel like this is where I'm so ill-prepared to know the actual etiquette. What goes first, what goes second, what to touch, what not to touch.
Well, what I learned from Pretty Woman is that you work your way out
and you go in.
Good evening.
Tonight, our hosts are Prince Alexander and Princess Makame.
Lovely to meet you.
They've graciously agreed to give us an insight into the dining etiquette that James's ancestor would have been expected to know.
Welcome to our humble abode.
When invited for dinner at a palace.
So toast goes on the side table, on the side plate here.
Great.
That's what it's for. This knife is also meant for the toast.
Great.
Okay.
As for the cutlery, the one that comes first is on the outside, and then you sort of work your way towards the inside.
Thank you, Julia.
Use this fork to cut the oysters.
It's very fresh.
Briny.
I'd say I drink to our lovely guests today.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. Lovely to meet you all. Thank you for inviting us into your home.
And you guys are doing it right because you're supposed to look each other in the eyes.
It's so many rules to take in.
And I guess that was the point. Every extravagant foreign dish, every piece of etiquette, reminded the likes of Conring that although they were offered a glimpse of power, they would never wield it.
Well, in those days, I mean, you know, society was a pyramid. Everybody was locked in their place, more or less, with very, very few exceptions.
Ah, yeah, it's the venison.
So even if this food tastes delicious to us now,
I'm astounded by it. It's really tasty, really flavorful.
the rule-bound, hierarchical society it symbolized may have been tougher for Herman Conring to swallow.
It's pretty surreal. Yeah. But incredible. I mean, it's just, again, this whole process is processing, like, you know, kind of taking all
It's
of that
a lot,
in.
absolutely.
The food was obviously incredible, and I'm thinking like what my ancestors were doing back in the day and where they sat in that hierarchy, where they were. The Conrings, it felt like they were in a pretty comfortable place, and what was going on with that family why was everyone moving to Texas?
It's a very good question, and I know just the place to find out more.
I'm just gonna ask everyone that passes me, like, do you know the Conrings? Sorry, do you know the Conrings?
Herman
Conring?
5 kids.
There are tried and tested ways to research your family history, but James, he's got his own methods.
James Marsden, X-Men, Notebook.
I've brought James to Hanover, the state capital of Lower Saxony, because I found something in the archives that might explain why his family left Germany.
So, Herman Conring, I have a bit of like physical information. That's his handwriting.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow, they did know how to write and
Beautifully.
beautiful penmanship back then. This is December 15th, 1837. To the Royal Hanoverian Ministry. For 9 years, I've been settled in this town as a lawyer. I hope that I'm not to be blamed for my moral conduct of life, since I have always made it my business to act in an orderly and lawful manner in my field of activity. Therefore, I dare to address the most humble request to your excellencies that you will graciously deign to appoint me as notary. Your excellence is most wise and well-born. Boy, okay, hold on, let me figure out what to make of this. So he's basically going, hey, hire me. I'm reaching out to you.
I feel like there's ambition and
drive, but I'm guessing the tone is that he's being denied this.
Conring's letters show a man who is ambitious but frustrated. There's clearly something going on here, and I found a clue from 17 years later that sheds light on this.
the plot thickens.
Annual report per 1854, Office of Internal Affairs, Immigration to America. In this year, 22 persons immigrated to other parts of the world. Among them were the lawyer Conring with his family, known from the year of 1848 and in 1853 again, imprisoned for a long time because of demagogic activities. Well, I need to decode that.
So basically, he was arrested twice.
My family. You got the
Can
right
you relate
guy.
to that
You
one?
got the right guy. Wow, okay. This is a lawyer who's imprisoned.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow, I wonder what that was about. Well, this is getting interesting and maybe dark.
Well, let's go talk to someone who's going to help us out a little. And also, I'm getting a little hungry, so I thought we could maybe go meet him and he can kind of unpack all this for us.
Oh, sorry you're getting hungry. I'm just like unfolding my whole history of my family. Let's get you a bagel.
My contact and lunch is another bike ride away.
Arrested twice for demagogic activity. I'm not sure what that means. But if it's anything fun, we should do some demagogic stuff while we're here in Hanover.
Gaststätte Kaiser is one of the oldest taverns in town.
Not sure I want to get this information.
Just the kind of place where bourgeois intellectuals like Herman would hang out. And the same is true today. We're meeting journalist Heiko Randerman in the hope that he can explain what happened to Herman.
Post.
Oh, that's very good.
Time to get down to the matter at hand.
Demagogic
Activity.
All right, that sounds dangerous.
Because it's a terrifying word.
It is a terrifying word, but demagogic activities back then could have been anything. Let's go back 200 years. Germany was not one country, it was dozens of them, maybe 40. Everywhere the aristocracy was ruling, but then French Revolution happened, and people in Germany get the idea a country does not belong to the king, it belongs to its people.
Okay.
Of course, the ruling class felt threatened. So many people back then were accused of demagogic activities, meaning they were looking for a liberal society. They might be in favor of a unified Germany. It could mean you speak your mind. It could mean you're wearing the wrong clothes, singing the wrong songs. And they were put into prison.
So it's kind of a blanket accusation to ensure that they got to maintain their palaces and their way of life and the rules.
Sure.
One surprising way people showed their support for a new democratic Germany was food. Taking humble local ingredients like bacon, pickles, and mustard, and turning them into an unlikely call for political change.
Ja, wir haben heute schönes traditionelles Essen aus Niedersachsen und aus ganz Deutschland mehr oder weniger. Guten Appetit.
Dankeschön.
That's delicious. The sauce that's in this dish reminds me of the brown gravy that my mother put on the fried steak. Remember when we were on riding horses back in Texas? I said something along the lines of feeling like you've been here before. This dish, the flavor, the feel, all of this kind of does the same thing.
Yeah.
Makes me feel like I've been here before having this dish before.
A world away from last night's fancy foreign food, this was traditional German fare that people like Conring didn't just eat, but started to celebrate as a symbol of the more equal Germany they wanted.
People were looking for, the German soul, right? Like, what is it that we all can agree on?
What is our identity?
That's right, what is our identity? And I have to say, we all can agree on Rinderroulade.
But even the Rinderroulade was no match for the might of the ruling class.
In this document, the year 1848 is mentioned. That was very important in German history, the year of the German Revolution.
Okay.
In 48, the aristocracies put troops on the street, they shut down everyone,
Shot people.
Hundreds of people dead. That was it. The movement was over. Your ancestor, very likely, was part of that movement.
Wow.
It kind of gives your family's history this nice theme of bravery.
Yeah. I was, well put. And I feel the same way. That if they were leaving oppression, and that, to me, there's a lot of courage in that.
It's not surprising that after getting out of prison, Herman Conring wanted to say Auf Wiedersehen to Germany and try his luck in the land of opportunity.
It's great. It makes you feel proud.
His behavior of his imprisonment could have come from pushing against the class system and wanting to find a different way of living.
He just wanted a better life for him, for his family, for his kids.
That's my takeaway.
But our journey doesn't end with Conring. I've uncovered another of James's ancestors, who lived in the fairy tale scenery of southern Germany, but whose life would have been far from magical.
Can you believe we started all the way from Hanover?
By foot.
By foot?
We're hiking up to Germany's highest castle, Falkenstein, where I'm going to give James some new information about his family. Bavaria in southeast Germany is an area as rugged as it is beautiful, defined by the majesty of the Alps and the pristine valleys below.
I was expecting more goats.
You are? Well, we're the goats today.
Fortunately for James, I've provided him with some classic Bavarian footwear.
Look at us, just mountain goating it. In these, what are they called?
I think they're called Haffel shoes.
Woo! Who needs oxygen? This is incredible.
Yup. It's the scale of it.
I mean, look how it just goes for miles and miles. That's insane.
Ooh, nice.
Oh,
cold.
Yeah.
Other than being the perfect setting for a local beer, this is the best place to see the old stomping ground of James's long-forgotten ancestor.
Early 1800s, your mother's paternal side of the family were actually here in Bavaria. There was a man by the name of Johann Dittler. He was a journeyman, and he was a shoemaker. And he went into towns and he would repair people's shoes. And shoes that were very popular at the time, whew, that's a stretch, are these Haferl shoes, which are like hiking shoes. I swear.
Wait, so these babies?
Yeah. So they look like a fashion statement, but they were actually very useful for people who were hiking in these mountains.
Born in 1819, Johann Dittler is James's 4 times great-grandfather on his mother's paternal side.
So he's traveling around Bavaria,
fixing these and making these.
Rural part of Germany, as opposed to a stark contrast to Hanover.
Much more humble background.
2 completely different Germanys there. I think I prefer this. When I'm in this type of landscape, it does something to me in a very positive way. It's a fascinating thing to explore, like what stays with you, even over the course of several generations. And I do believe that things are passed down.
Oh, yeah.
And imprints that are made, 2 centuries ago can still surface in certain ways.
Right.
Well, with that in mind, I think walking in his ancestors' footsteps might help reveal some of those imprints James is talking about. Journeying through Bavaria in the first half of the 1800s, Dittler would have encountered an impoverished, isolated kingdom compared to the tourist brochure perfection we see today.
The cattle.
And each one of them have a bell. It's almost a little too cliche, guys.
Right?
The lower classes would have scraped by on a meager diet, so our first stop is restaurant Schlossinger Alp, which specializes in something Dittler would have eaten. Meat by the back door, Chef Bastian said. I didn't know he meant that literally.
I just thought of Westworld.
Oh, yeah, I was thinking the cold storage unit.
Sorry to interrupt on this very intimate affair.
Can I ask what it used to be?
It was a deer. Yeah.
Oh, it was?
A male deer, yeah.
A male deer?
Yes.
My gosh.
Yes.
She's the hunter. You hunted this?
Yes, I shot it.
Like you shot it with a gun?
Yes, with a gun. I normally just work here.
Okay.
And at the reception.
But you work at the reception?
But you're a secret hunter, aren't you?
Yeah. Secret hunter in my spare time, yeah.
This deer looks incredible, but Dittler wouldn't have been eating prime cuts of meat. He would have had the parts Chef Bastian likes best.
We use everything, the heart, tongue, the back, everything.
Ear to hoof.
Yeah, sure, because in this region we don't have so much money in the past.
I'm excited to see what you make with this.
Yeah, sure, let's go inside.
And that's why we're here, because Chef Bastian Ebert makes food using offcuts, innards, and organs.
This is our kitchen. These are my sous chef. Hello.
The only sort of meat a poor shoemaker like Dittler would have been able to afford.
We have here the heart and the tongue.
For me, this all sounds like a culinary wonderland, but I'm not convinced James has inherited his ancestors' taste buds.
My usual rule is that I don't typically get into eating organs of animals.
But Bastian does things to offal which Dittler could have only dreamed of.
So the tradition is basically using ingredients that were kind of like less favored or desired, and kind of like highlighting them in a contemporary way.
Yeah.
Today, Bastian is preparing us a specialty, croquette of minced tongue and heart, deep fried, laid on a bed of crushed bean salad, garnished with freshly picked alpine wildflowers.
We add some mayonnaise of rosemary and then sauce and green oil of parsley, the taste of the herbs.
Yeah, a bit of that sharpness.
I almost don't want to touch it. It's just such. It is a piece.
You have
of,
to.
It's a piece of. It's a work of art. Let's just leave it. I just want to look at it.
I'll consume the art. So delicate. I think you're really gonna like it.
This is a once in a lifetime thing. So, let's just.
You're also on the roots of your family.
That's
so.
right. Exactly. So to honor you,
I like that.
to honor my family. I actually love that. Yeah, that was amazing.
Right?
Perfect.
And that sauce is insane. It's like I need to recalibrate my dining rules.
Right?
Yeah. Here you go. Here, there we go.
Oh, thanks so much.
See, we're like a little married
look at
couple
that.
now.
Yeah.
Obviously, offal as haute cuisine would have been unrecognizable to Dittler, but he would have known the key ingredients.
Thinking about the pride and the usage of the offal, as Bastian was showing us 200 plus years ago, it came from a place of necessity, because that's all that these people who were on the impoverished side had to rely on.
I imagine Johann as a shoe cobbler. You know, it's
Yeah.
like how simple his life must have been,
Right.
compared to the Conrings. You know, they were rubbing elbows with the high society there, and just complete stark contrast there. It's really interesting.
I'm really excited for today.
Yeah, me too. Wonder what part of the animal what animal we'll be eating tomorrow. It's pretty cool to know that my great-great-great-great-grandfather invented the shoe that got us up a mountain yesterday.
Tight little edit, so he was fixing and making them.
No.
But I think somebody else...
He invented them.
That's a narrative you want to go
He
with?
invented them.
You know what? You write your own
Don't
history
change my
books.
mind on
Yep.
this.
Whether he invented them or not, with so few records about Dittler, we're trying to learn more about him through the food he would have eaten, maybe even uncovering some links to James's own food memories. Along with offal, Johann Dittler would have relied on two things still very much present in Bavaria: bread and beer.
So I thought it'd be nice to celebrate this journey that we've been on and go to a beer garden a little later today.
Twist my arm.
But as local tradition has it, you have to bring something that you can kind of like share with everybody. So
Food?
Food.
You have to bring something food on.
Exactly.
To a beer garden? Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
That's tradition.
Yeah, because we're gonna have like a proper meal. Are you a baker?
No.
Okay, great. Me neither.
No, but I enjoyed baked goods.
Like most townfolk back then, Dittler wouldn't have an oven of his own. Instead, he'd use a communal one.
Hi, how are you?
This is James.
Hello.
James, hi.
Hi.
And that's a tradition the good residents of Orartrit don't intend to stop anytime soon. Today, they're baking something Dittler would certainly have eaten, and James will no doubt enjoy.
We will make German Bierbrot, beer bread.
Oh, I'm so happy this exists. Great, I'm in.
Just like in Dittler's time, Teresa and Uli are using barley beer
Natürlich gutes dunkles Bier.
and rye flour, crops that can actually grow this high up in the mountains. But the real secret to this bread lies in the care with which you work it.
Hier drücken, einfach so ein bisschen mit Gefühl. Nicht so fest, etwas vorsichtiger.
Twist too much.
Love it
Wie-
slowly.
Power?
Love it slowly, not
Genau.
quickly.
Stell dir vor, deine Frau ist es. Ja?
Okay, imagine it's a woman.
I was.
Aber ist okay, ist okay. Fürs
okay.
erste Mal.
First time.
Super. Okay?
While the bread bakes, I want to show James how to make another regional specialty, which I have a hunch is going to feel pretty familiar to him.
If you don't mind cracking these eggs.
Give me the hard part.
We're making schnitzel, a dish that would have been popular in Dittler's time. It's a cutlet coated in eggs and breadcrumbs, and awfully similar to a dish we made in Texas with James's mom.
With love.
With love.
Love. With love.
I'm just wondering when he's gonna catch on.
These are nice and thin.
Yeah.
Maybe when the meat hits the pan.
So this one's gonna go
Delicate. See, that smell
Right?
the same smell that we had in the kitchen in Texas, bringing me back. This is the smell of my childhood.
Aw,
Going on
that's
to the
nice.
next one here?
Yes, sir. Perfect. Beautiful. There you go.
It's just a small leap from schnitzel to chicken fried steak, but for James, it's a powerful link to a treasured family recipe.
Look at me cooking like my ancestors here.
And a different version of what your mom made.
It's all coming full circle. I love it.
Germans like Dittler took this schnitzel recipe with them to the States, where over time the meat of choice became all that steak being reared on vast Texas ranches.
Look how golden they
brown.
are.
See, I liked the little charred bits.
I love a
Just
good little charred, yeah.
More crunch.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. This is so similar to what we made in Texas, and now here we are in Bavaria making essentially the same thing, but just
in like the same territory that like
I know it's
your
crazy.
ancestor journeyman on his way.
Yeah, yeah.
Should we check on the bread? Hello.
Mmm.
Mit Liebe gebacken.
That's maybe the freshest bread I've ever had.
Food prepared, we are ready to hit perhaps Bavaria's greatest gift to the world, and the missing piece in James's family history.
This is for you.
Thank you.
A beer garden.
Wow, man.
It's so cool back here.
It's like an
These
old
trees.
Brewery, drinking hole, and communal eating place.
Keep doing this.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
For old and newfound friends.
Let's make some room.
Beer gardens are a Bavarian summertime institution.
We have enough schnitzel for everybody.
Dating back to the 1600s.
Prost.
What's so funny about
What's
that?
so funny about how I said it?
Stefan Albrecht is the master brewer here at Roslik Beer Garden.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Okay. Yeah. Let's make some room.
Hey guys, great to have you here.
Thank you very
prefer
much.
dark or blonde one?
I'm gonna try both. My four-time grandfather lived in these areas. I'm imagining he might have even been here. There's a little monitor
schnitzel
propped up against the wall after about too many of these.
Along with their butchery skills, baking, and schnitzels,
That's good.
these leafy beer gardens were one more thing the Germans took with them to the US, leaving a lasting impression on their new home.
Oh.
When we started this journey, the extent of your knowledge traced back to the Scholl's family, right? And they had the beer garden in San Antonio.
Right.
We know Scholl's beer garden is long gone, but there's a connection to Dittler that James knows nothing about.
Dittler, the shoemaker, he basically emigrated to Pennsylvania around 1850-ish. And later on, his granddaughter married into the Scholl's family. So that's the connection.
Johann's granddaughter married into the Scholl's. Okay.
And she helped run the beer garden.
You're kidding.
Yeah.
Wow, that just blew my mind.
Johann Dittler's granddaughter, Eva, married Adolf Scholl's son William in 1890 and worked in the Palm Garden serving beer. And who knows, maybe even a chicken fried steak to a passing demagogue.
That's way further back and way more information than I ever had. And one of the cool things about this trip has been kind of discovering what was coming from all of this 200, 300 years ago, and what became an Americanized version of it. There are elements that have been passed down that sort of make their way through the generations.
Yeah.
I just find that fascinating. It's just kind of blowing my mind, the whole thing. And I appreciate you taking me on this journey. It's been really special, yeah.
Yay, I'm glad this was so much fun. Should we go back to our friends?
Absolutely.
Okay. They ate all the schnitzel while we were chatting. There's no more left. First eat and then talk.
Okay, so to all of you.
Prost.
Prost.